Hi, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for, just believing in my work and still being on this membership. Um, I'm excited. I'm so excited because today was like this message that was so obvious, like throat chakra. I was like, okay, cool. Um, I just want to offer us the opportunity to just have a long live. Whenever you have a question, you can either type it or you could ask to join the live, because I actually would like everyone to come, show their face, share their voice, share their frequency, and make this kind of like a retreat where we're face to face with one another and exploring different things. So I'm wearing purple. I have a purple candle here that I'm gonna set up right now. And I hope you have pen and paper and water. And let's go. So I think we're going to spend an hour, if you have an hour. It might be a little bit longer. I usually tend to overextend the promise, but we'll see, okay? Okay. Good. So, does anyone have any question? Mackenzie, I think it's your first time attending live to this kind of retreat work. So I've been doing different full day transpersonal chakra work where I've been presenting the chakras that we usually don't talk about. And when I launched this program, the Shapeshifter, I launched the heart chakra program. And I don't know where it will go, if I will do all the individual chakras, but I'm just following the guidance, right? And I knew that the throat chakra would come at some point, especially with Mercury in Scorpio going retrograde, and especially for me in my chart, it's like those very like on my sun and then goes back. So I wanted to just prepare us because we're in the shadow period right now, which means that the planet is going over the parts that it's going to retrograde into. So it means we're already in the retrograde, in my opinion. We're actually crossing that part of the chart that is going to be crossed 3 times. 1, and then the retrograde, and then the going back into the forward motion. So right now you're encountering the first entry into the land that you're going to evolve into, that you're going to retrospect, that you're going to review. Mercury is a personal planet. It's so important. And to some people, like Virgo risings, Gemini risings, or Virgo suns, Virgo moons, Gemini suns, Gemini moons, it's super important. It's also for suns in the 3rd house. If your sun is in that 3rd house, it means you're here to shine with expression, communication, sharing of ideas, and much more things, like love of your siblings, creativity, exchanges with the world, which means not only communication but actually like commercial exchanges. So yes, Mercury is also a trickster. It's an energy where he will win. He will do what he can to get his way, and it has been, I was really reflecting on that yesterday. To me, it's okay. Let's take it less personally, but the trickster energy is like the shapeshifter. That's actually what I wanted to bring about in this program. It's the fact that you are considering your growth, you are reviewing life as a game, as a simulation, as an experience where you're not a victim, but you're actually going to try to find your thing out of the whole game that's happening. The tricksters, or let's call it with another word, let's call it shapeshifter, are people that are viewed in kind of a negative way in society, because they usually have like maybe a childish thing, or maybe it's like loyalty, like what's your loyalty? But I think it's a quality to think of yourself and to not especially try to depend on others, or even just like consider only others and not yourself. And it's a quality to be in a situation where, you know, it might be a crisis, something happens and you have to save yourself. It's a quality. And to make it not noble to be a trickster or to be someone who has some genius is a way to debilitate us and to remove ourselves from having this opportunity. So of course there's going to be like that. Are you following your values? Is it ethical what you're doing? Are you being a trickster with ethics, right? Are you playing the game with the sense of nobility, or are you not? So that was about Mercury. Mercury, his myth is that he is born, and the minute he's born, he's a baby who already has like these genius abilities. He already knows how to walk, how to play music, how to make an instrument, how to steal a herd of cattle. So it's very interesting how like within the first hours his mom is still sleeping from like giving birth, and Mercury is already like wreaking havoc on the planet Earth, and all the gods are like, what the fuck? Like Apollo is like, what the fuck is happening? It's like, oh, it's your stepbrother. So Mercury is such a, I don't know, it's just genius, has a certain way of coming about, and it's just a way that your nerves and your neurons are connected. It's just a different way of making synapses, and it has a very beautiful energy, and it's been qualified again by society as something that isn't good. So I wanted to tap into our genius today, because we usually see the throat chakra as just something else, and I wanted to tap into that idea that you can create and you can express your own genius, and you can embody that own genius that you have within yourself. And as I just said, like for example, Sarah just joined us, but I'm gonna repeat it quite quickly. We're in the shadow of the Mercury retrograde, so it means we're actually meeting the energy for the first time that we're going to retrograde into. So we're meeting the themes, the land, the people, the protagonists of that whole theater scene that we're about to review and then rewrite. So look around, like what's happening right now? Are you compelled to say specific things, or are you realizing that you don't say specific things? Are you maybe thinking about new creations? Are you discovering like past things that might have happened? Like you could look at, when was the last Mercury retrograde in Scorpio? Or what about the last Mercury retrograde? When was that? That was 3 months ago. What was happening then? Okay, lockdown. What was happening there? You know, like you could try to see the retrospectives, but that's what people usually talk about. And for me, one of the things that I've been doing, and I don't know if you've seen, but I've shared it a little bit on this account, is that I mentioned in the last video how we can ask guides to come up and show up and work with us. You don't have to wait to be chosen. So what I've been doing, and that's also something I share in Reiki school, is the fact that you use your voice to speak to them. And then you might hear them back, or you might feel them back, or you know, a lot of things happen. But they're waiting for a conversation. They can only come if your free will is like, okay, like let's come. And what I've been doing a lot is that I've been just like, I don't do the retrospective on like the writing, like what happened last Mercury retrograde and stuff, because I kind of got tired after years of doing the same thing, and I just started asking the questions, like what am I supposed to do, right? And without a tarot card, without anything, I just ask someone. I work with Jesus right now, so I call him Yeshua, and I just close myself to the distraction, and I just enter my bubble. So, and I ask him, and I want to facilitate all of that for us. So whoever you want to call in, we're going to have a little bit of time with that. So does anyone have a question? Does anyone want to come live and join me in that live and show your face? And also know that this will be in the replay, so whatever you share will also be available to other people. But how are you? Do you want to share something? Do you want to actually express truly if anything resonated, or express your current considerations, reflections of what's happening? Is there anything that you'd like to share with us? Like, we're a safe space, you know, it's us. If you want to use that, just ask me, do that request, or type it if you don't want to show your face. That's also super cool. And I have different exercises. I have some oceanic Reiki plant. Every time I think of the throat, I just think about the Little Mermaid and that seashell experience of giving her voice in a seashell. So I've got some seashells with me, and we're going to do some motions, right? Let's just move this, Mercury retrograde in a water sign, Scorpio. So yeah. So if anyone wants, yes, okay. So Mercury shadow period is dealing with how I see myself, how I talk to myself and other people in my head. Okay, I'm so thankful that you're sharing that with us. And is there anything you'd like to, because I'm not gonna ask, like I'm not gonna talk about like personal things that we talked about or things like that here, but have you found a way to address that and to see that I'm just waiting for something else to come, but I guess to me it would be like the word that I see the most is acceptance. Like, do you accept yourself? Do you accept even the way that you talk to yourself right now? Even if you recently, being like, okay, the shadow period is showing me this. Are you being like, okay, well, I'm not going to judge myself because I do this because I learned it from somewhere, or because it's easier to, maybe this actually motivates you to do better. Actually, this motivates you to go further. Maybe this is how you protect yourself. So not judging it, but trying to be like, all right, definitely you want me to get better, right? You want to motivate me to be perfect and to be always aware of what could be happening and how I could, I'm just taking examples, I'm not talking about you in general, but to be like, okay, I understand that the core is that. The core is I want to be sure that I do my best and that people are aware of what I'm, doing, and they see me, they don't see something else. Well, if that's the core, how can I do it in a better way, right? And then maybe that could be a question that you ask Jesus or any other guides, right? Because we don't always know, and I'm sure that if you ask yourself the question like, how can I do it in a better way? I'm sure that you're gonna come up with something that makes sense because you heard it somewhere on Twitter or on Instagram. Like, I know that's how it works with me, and I'm like, yeah, no. What's the true wisdom? What's the true thing? Okay, let's ask someone else. Let's speak out loud. And when I usually talk with anyone through my voice, and I ask the questions through the guides, they also take my voice and they use me and they tell me the words that I would never come up with. So yeah, what about you, Mackenzie? Or just Kenzie? Do you want to talk about how your Mercury retrograde shadow period is going? In the meantime, because I know we're going to be delayed with the live, to me it's crossing my sun and it's actually entering my third house, so it's actually asking me to step up because I'm very, very cautious with what I share, and even what I share right now or what I share in any one of my teachings is things that I've been doing for months and months and months. It's not usually the thing that I did last week because I'm not confident about the thing that I did last week. So right now I'm kind of being asked to really go full in, like to not take any more precautions, to trust and to just go and start sharing, and it's super scary. But but this is what I'm being asked to do, and I have all the ideas, and I have also that, sorry about that sound, I have that thing that reminds me that I'm not supposed to try to find a program for how I'm going to share those things. I'm just supposed to share it because that's how I work. I'm a manifesting generator, so I usually procrastinate by being like, oh no, I need a plan, the post-its and all those things, and then I just don't do the thing. So right now they're like kicking my butt and being like, just do it. So that's it. And then Okay, Kenzie, for this shadow period, I've realized a lot of my fears come from childhood wounds. I've been trying to nurture that part of me and really dig deep to address what happened. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. And is there anything else that you want to share with us? Like maybe a specific wound, or maybe something that someone told you that hurt you, and maybe saying it out loud here would help you free that? Because magic is alchemy. It's all about making our shadows become seen, become conscious. It's about making our subconscious, our unconscious, conscious. And when you start to look inside and you see those things and you remember those things because you're ready, and you make them conscious to yourself, but also to specific people that you trust, it means you don't hold shame about it anymore, because we see it. You don't have to hide it anymore. You see it, we see it, and that liberates so much energy that it really helps you to go into the next level of healing that. So anyone here and anyone watching the replay, if you want to use the group chat to share something that is shadowy and that you need others to see and not judge you, and that's going to be a space where I highly encourage everyone to be kind to one another and not have judgment and not even offer up solutions, but just listen and just be there and just say thank you, we hear you, we're here for you. That's great. That would be like, you can use that space however you want. And for you, it's the fear of failure and abandonment and also disappointment. And it comes from how your mother raised you. I understand. I totally understand. And I'm glad that you get to see this part of yourself and this part of human nature, right? And human texture, and this transit will help you. Like it's a 3-week movement and a 3-week movement and then another 3 weeks, so it's 9. It's all about endings, right? It's you're entering this because you're ready to see it. If it comes, it's because you're ready. There's a sentence that I keep quoting everywhere, but something only appears as a problem when you already have the tools to bring about the solutions. If you don't have the contrast and the duality of those tools, you wouldn't understand that this is a problem. And we can see that 3 is 3. We don't understand that a specific thing is a problem because we don't know what would be the solution. The minute men had the vote, and it was brought about, and it was not royalty anymore, and it was like a beginning of a democracy, and men had the vote, that's when we were like, wait a minute, why women aren't allowed to vote? And that's when you understand, okay, now there's a contrast, right? So now that you see those things, you know, fear of failure, fear of abandonment and disappointment, what would be the opposite? When Sarah shared something, I heard the word acceptance, right? So to you, to those 3 things, what would be the opposite? And that's where we can jump into our exercise right now. Let's ask, let's just connect with guides right now and ask them what is your personal, divinely guided energy that would be the opposite of that for you, Sarah, for you, Kenzie, for anyone else watching. What would be the opposite? Because we cannot make something disappear unless we have the container for the other thing to come in. We're making the unconscious conscious. We're not making the unconscious disappear into the, you know, we're making the unconscious conscious. It's like the side of a coin. Yes? And then, all right? So, if anyone here is ready to share anything else, okay. But in the meantime, we're going to connect. So I would love for you to breathe. if you are in a space where nobody hears you, I would love for you to say what you've been holding in your heart, those fears, those inner communications, those thoughts, those reflections. And I would love for you to transform them into a question and say, right now, dear Archangel, or dear Mother Mary, or dear anyone who you want to speak to, dear whoever, this is what's happening with me right now. I am feeling that way, and I'm ready to understand it and integrate it, like making it a part of my integrality without judgment. Can you help me? And witnessing the energy that might come, or the words that might come, or a solution, a practical solution. And let yourself feel, acknowledge, breathe in, take in, digest, gulp down the thoughts, the communications. They're all here, and we allow them to become a part of us and to be digested, integrated. When we allow it to be recognized, to be voiced, to be so we need to gulp down. We need to, in order to finally complete that process. A lot of people are angry, they keep it here. A lot of people are stressed, they keep it here. A lot of people are becoming paranoid, they keep it here. Like the energy is all around here because this is our cup. This is our vessel. This is how we see the universe. This is how we are aware of the universe, right? It enters here. We start making formulas. We start making structures. We start understanding things. But we cannot create from it. We cannot go into it if we don't gulp down. So we need to gulp down. We need to accept. So I hope that you had anything, that you shared anything, and if you want to write it here, or if you want to request to join here, you can do that. I mean, to me the icon is here, but I think to you it's reversed, so it would be here. But the two smiley faces, it's where you can request to join live and tell us like what's happening in your mind right now. You're not alone. It's also not super easy because Mercury in Scorpio, it means your thoughts are in the depth, in the core of you. We're not at the surface, we're super deep into you. And you might realize things that you haven't realized in a year, or that you weren't ready to see. Sometimes you saw 10% of it, but you didn't give it attention because you didn't have the solutions. And for example, truth time. Today, Gangsta Gary, he shared something in his stories about depression. And I clicked on it and I realized, yeah, I've been having depression a lot of days, and it allowed me to be like, well, then I actually have a solution about those things. Like, this is not a definition of my character that sometimes I have trouble having energy for anything. It's not, I am a lazy person. It just means I actually have a nervous condition where sometimes I just don't have it. And I've been super resilient and strong at going about a lot of things, but I didn't call it depression. I didn't understand it was depression. So now that I understand it, it's kind of a huge blow in my face to be like, oh, okay. And I wasn't ready to see. I kind of had, those hints sometimes that this could be what we call depression, but I didn't have all of the, the information. And it's only because my uncle started having depression, and he told me a few weeks ago, that I was like, oh, okay. And today I was ready to see it, like the path opened, and that Mercury in Scorpio is showing me that yes, sometimes I get in loops, and it's okay. I'm not gonna judge myself. I do my best. So same for you. Like, you do your best at all times. You're working with the solutions that you have. That's how good you can do it. And if you had other solutions, maybe you could do it in a different way. And that's why I just love creating solutions. So yeah, I love bringing solutions to you so you can try different things. And thank you so much, Deepa. I had so much fun putting this makeup on. So how was your experience about this? How was your experience about meeting a specific guide, and who was it? I've worked with Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary for most of the year, and mostly women, and now it's Jesus. It's a man. It's a very different energy, and I highly encourage you. Wow, he's really cool. I know it's the whole Christian Catholic, like, we have all been traumatized by this, but the real Jesus, the real energy, it's so good. It's like so in the heart. It feels amazing. So I highly encourage you to call him, work with him. And if no one wants to share anything right now here, that's okay. We're gonna move on to the energy work. All right, we're going to go and do some oceanic Reiki. So my friend, my assistant today will be this beauty, because it really reminds me of the Little Mermaid, and she gets the life she wants by giving her voice, and she doesn't get really far by giving her voice away. And sometimes we give our voice away, or we don't give it 100%, or we keep it in our head. Integrating means you integrate in your body, but you also integrate it in your reality. To me, integration, it's like two Lego pieces being like, okay, we fit and now we're a whole. And it's, my passion to create unity consciousness in this planet, where we just fit with one another and we create a whole. So integration comes through you seeing the unconscious and making it conscious to yourself, accepting it into your heart, but also voicing it out so that the people that are around you can accept it in their heart and accept you and see you as that full, like, there's something about being seen, about being validated, about being witnessed. That's why we're social, and that's why we're on social media. We need to be seen, but our essence needs to be expressed, and it needs to be back and forth with someone. And there's something in human design called the Incarnation Cross, and there's a really good book about every incarnation cross called The Book of Destinies by Chetan Parkin and his wife. I forgot her name, but get your incarnation cross, get those books, get the book and check that and see your essence, and then check all of your other friends' essence. You will fall in love with everyone. Not romantic love, you will just fall in love with everyone that you meet, because this is who we are. We are essences, expressing ourselves, living, exchanging, changing lives, right? Does anyone here know their incarnation cross? That's how I do energy work. I just stop talking. But we can go back to it in a minute. But yeah, it is a wonderful thing to know your incarnation cross and your friends, because then you understand what your interactions are. It's not always about planets being conjunct one another or squares and things, but okay, so an incarnation cross can see as it's the coordinates of when your sun, when you were born, and where the earth was, and also when you were born as a soul, which is calculated as 88 days before your actual birth. That's part of the human design modality. So you can go on a specific website called My Body Graph. I will write it down later on in the group chat, mybodygraph.com, and you will put your birthday, your birth hour, your birth location, and it will give you a human design chart, which is a lot about how your energy works, a lot about, it's very intense and a lot of different things, but I'm referring to this specific thing called incarnation cross, and those coordinates, when they cross, they show up as the essence between your soul and your human personality, and that makes up different expressions of souls and human being, and that's what you're here doing, not meant to do, but what you're already doing. When you meet your mom for coffee, you have specific ways of, just listening to her or bringing up a conversation, like different things. So that's what your essence is. Thank you so much, Tisha, for being here. So yeah, you can look up for your incarnation cross and then check the Book of Destinies by Chetan Parkin, or you can tell me what your incarnation cross is, and I will photograph the pages for you and share it with you. And right, let's get into the energy work. Let's go. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm having fun with makeup these days. I'm super into glitter. Alright, let's go. Energy work. So, Tisha, we're doing oceanic Reiki on your throat. And it's about integrating your unconscious and your conscious. And it's about being able to voice it out loud so that the people that know you, that meet you, that exchange with you, are also able to witness you. And that your life, external life, is integrating your conscious and unconscious. So your full self, your essence. You deserve to be heard, to create what you want to create, to share and express what you want to share and express. So, you live and you watching the replay, I would love for you right now to ask for your permission. And if you do give me permission to give you energy healing, please say yes out loud and type it here as well if you want. Do you give me permission to enter your energy field and help you make some shifts that relate to your throat chakra? Alright. So, I'm going to start by entering the space. I can feel the nose is taking in the energy, like it's also a center of awareness, of catching like energy that is around, like we get into our head, right? Of course, even if you have to leave, you can receive, except if you're driving, okay? Or drinking. And you can watch the replay as well. So, I'm feeling the nose right now. So we're going to take in big gulps of air, and I'm also going to send you the violet breath, okay? So we enter the nose, and we go down into the throat. But first we open behind with the seal chakra, the third eye, the crown. So I'm just making the space because it feels like a lot of clutter was just pressing on you. So we're making space, okay? The next days, be kind to yourself. So I see that there are things here that want to be said, and sure, some of it needs to be said, but some of it also could be forgiven. Yeah, I know it's an ocean that is an interesting one, but choosing to not hold on to anything anymore and just letting it be a part of what's real, because it's already happened. If you hold it here, doesn't change anything. Those things happen. So you can either forgive and just, or you could talk about it, but if there's anyone you need to forgive, you can just say it out loud. I forgive, but I will never let any of this energies fool me again, or distract me again, or destroy me. I will never give consent to be destroyed again, to be hurt, to be disrespected. So it goes deeper into the lungs, so I'm just helping you facilitate the throat, from throat to heart and then to lungs. It feels like sadness, so I don't know if anyone ever went to the Centaurs events. This feels like Centaurs like language. This is how I feel. I've been attuned and working with Centaurs for nearly a year. Damn. And it's the first time I have the light language. It feels like I'm doing massage. I love it. Yeah. You're releasing a lot. I'm very happy with you. Sorry, that's the release. So I'm going to use the shell, and we're actually going to create a siphon and take in all the energies that you just don't know. What's the solution, right? It turns, but it never tells you what's right, how to do. We don't have the solutions, how we talked about, you know, like you see it's a problem and then you yet don't have the solutions. Let's give them here in this reflective seashell, and I'm gonna send it back to you after, and it's going to be sent back with the energy of the shell that will help you to eliminate, to project. Like this is reflective, it's like a mirror, so it will, I don't know what that accent was. It's like a mirror, and so sorry. This energy, this mirrorship, this reflection will help you. It will help you to see truly, like, what was the unconscious saying? Consciously you saw there was a problem, but you didn't have the root. So let's go into it, right? So just blow, alright? Send right now, right here. I'm going to work with it now. And now I'm going to send you back this iridescence, this beautiful energy back into your throat. With the solutions, with the epiphanies coming from your guides, the guides you talked about. And also coming just from the energy, because sometimes it also needs to be that layer of energy. So we just send it back. Take it in, breathe it in. How do you feel? If you have honey, it would be great to go and have a spoon of honey. Just give yourself this kindness. Eat kindness, watch kindness, drink kindness. Drink this, just pour love into your throat, pour love into your vessel, whichever shape it looks like. Relaxed, that's good. So calm. Okay, thank you. So the space is open here if you like to say anything, if you like to ask anything, if you like to join the live, if you like to write. This is your space. I don't have anything else to share, but I'm here to listen, and I'm here to guide, I'm here to serve if you need anything. Okay? So the floor is yours, and if there's nothing, you can just write nothing, and you know, and then we will say goodbye. Thank you so much. Sometimes I forget that too, and I need reminding. So I'm going to send that back to you. Don't forget yourself, how powerful you are, okay? Watch yourself in the mirror and be like, I'm powerful. Yeah. Yeah, I'm also super cheesy and childish. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining me. I mentioned the centaurs, so if you don't know about the centaurs, I will share an interview. I know, Tisha, you've been to the centaur attunement. I will share an interview with David, who facilitates the centaur attunements, and maybe you can join us next time. It's such a fun thing. But yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye. Take care of yourself. Drink water, and don't drive.